Elenina Morrison adjusted her wool scarf against the morning chill. At 78, she had walked this route for 3 decades since she and Harold built their cabin overlooking Pine Valley. The hand-carved walking stick bore the smooth patina of Harold's patient hands before arthritis claimed his woodworking. At 5:30 morning, she had the world to herself. People in town thought her foolish. At her age, they said, move into assisted living. They didn't know she'd spent 2 years in a Korean War field hospital, treating soldiers whose wounds would have sent most civilians into shock, suturing torn flesh while artillery exploded. Harold had built that cabin himself. 2 years after his passing, Elenina still saw his handiwork everywhere. His coffee mug remained beside the sink. The loneliness was real. 52 years of marriage created rhythms one person couldn't maintain alone. But solitude brought gifts. She read medical journals again, practiced sutures on old sheets, her muscle memory returning. Today felt different. After 7 decades, she'd developed instincts for signs preceding change. She took extra care, fresh batteries, extra bandages, antiseptic, hot coffee, energy bars. Whatever was coming, she would meet it with quiet confidence. Black skid marks carved across asphalt, leading to twisted metal sprawled beside the guardrail. 2 motorcycles lay sideways, chrome catching weak sunlight, fuel seeping. 2 men lay motionless. The larger wore a leather jacket with Hell's Angels patches, skull and wings hierarchy symbols. Elenina approached carefully. These were not men elderly women encountered safely. Their reputation preceded them, bar fights, violence. But she saw 2 human beings needing medical attention. The larger man's face showed advanced hypothermia, breathing shallow. The younger showed no visible breathing, though she detected a faint pulse. Her military training took over. Primary survey, airway, breathing, circulation. The crash occurred hours ago during early morning darkness. The larger man's eyes fluttered open. Confusion, then alarm. Don't move, Elenina said firmly. You have hypothermia and possible internal injuries. My friend, he managed. Danny, is he? Both need immediate warming and medical attention. I live nearby. Your name? Tank. Marcus Tank Williams. That's Danny Stevens. We crashed coming from Billings. Ice caught the back wheel. She returned with Harold's toboggan, blankets, hot water bottles, her medical kit. Tank's condition had deteriorated. She worked methodically, wrapping both men before moving them onto the toboggan. Lady, you don't know what you're getting into, Tank mumbled. People like us, we're nothing but trouble. Right now you're just 2 people who need help, Elenina said simply. That's all that matters. Inside, Elenina transformed her living room into a field hospital. Wood stoves stoked to maximum, blankets heated and rotated, hot water bottles maintained constantly. Her military kit revealed treasures: morphine ampoules from 1952, suture materials, antiseptic. Tank's patches told stories. 1%er indicated outlaw status, MC designated club affiliation, military service, prison time. Removing his wet clothing revealed old drug tracks, Semper Fi, tattoo with marine insignia, a newer tattoo showing a child's name and birthdate. Danny's tattoos were more artistic: a detailed dragon, a memorial tattoo for Sarah 1987 to 2010, with angel wings. After 2 hours, Tank's eyes opened. Is he going to make it? His core temperature is rising slowly. He's not out of danger yet. Lady, I don't even know your name. Elenina Morrison. You don't need to thank me. This is what people do for each other. People cross the street when they see us. During the war, I treated North Korean soldiers alongside American boys. Wounded is wounded. Need is need. Danny's eyes opened, immediately alert. Easy, brother, Tank said. We're safe. This lady saved our lives. Headlights approached. That's either the sheriff or the club, Tank said grimly. Either way, things are about to get complicated. Sheriff Pete Hansen arrived with Mary Henderson. Ellen, we found 2 crashed motorcycles. You seen anything unusual? I found 2 injured men and brought them home for medical treatment. They were suffering from severe hypothermia. Mary gasped. Elenina, you didn't bring Hell's Angels into your house. They were unconscious and dying. Within an hour, the road resembled a crime scene. Deputies, news crews, onlookers, town council members arrived. We need to turn ourselves in, Tank said quietly. You're going to get hurt because you helped us. Are you wanted for any crimes? No outstanding warrants, Danny confirmed. Then there's no reason to surrender to people responding to fear rather than facts. Sheriff Hanson knocked. Sheriff, these men are my guests recovering from medical treatment, Elenina said. They had a motorcycle accident and required emergency care. The news reporter asked about harboring dangerous criminals. I see 2 young men who were injured and needed help. Their clothing doesn't change their right to medical care and basic human decency. 3 days later, Tank and Danny remained as their strength returned. Tank sat peeling potatoes. Tell me about your daughter, Elenina said. Emma. She's 8, lives with her mother in Sacramento. I send money when I can, but Jennifer doesn't want me around. Says the club makes me too dangerous. When did you last see her? 2 years ago. Jennifer took one look at my colors and told me to leave. The kind who works honestly to support his child, who thinks about her welfare. Fatherhood isn't about appearances. Danny looked up from his sketch pad. Tank's a good man who made hard choices. The club gave him purpose. What about you? Bounce between foster homes from 6 to 18. Learn showing weakness gets you hurt. Except the club, first time anyone had my back. You have considerable artistic talent. Have you considered formal training? Foster kids don't get art school. We get survival skills. Talent doesn't respect circumstances. Danny stopped drawing. Someone's coming. Multiple vehicles. Tank moved to the window. That's club colors. Iron Mike found us. 8 Harleys wound up the mountain. Are you in trouble with your club? Depends on how they interpret our situation, Tank explained. Club rules are strict about accepting help from outsiders. Iron Mike Kowalski dismounted. You the lady taking care of my boys? I'm Elenina Morrison. I've been providing medical care for Tank and Danny. They were suffering from severe hypothermia. Medical care. That what we're calling it? Tank appeared. Mike, she saved our lives. Danny and me would have died. Sheriff came by, but Elenina told them we were her guests. She protected us from arrest. Mr. Kowalski, your members needed emergency medical treatment. I provided it using skills learned during military service in Korea. Iron Mike's expression shifted. Korea? You see combat? Field hospital near the 38th parallel. 2 years treating casualties from both sides. Wounded soldiers don't have nationalities. They have needs. You treated enemy soldiers? I treated human beings who were dying. Same principle applies here. Tank, Danny, get your gear. Time to ride home. They're welcome to stay until completely recovered, she offered. Iron Mike laughed. Lady, you got brass. How about a compromise? They stay one more night, leave tomorrow. One condition. This conversation stays between us. Word gets out Hell's Angels went soft, we got problems. Your privacy will be respected. You're all right, Elenina Morrison. Dawn broke as Tank and Danny prepared to leave. Elenina gave them Harold's small wooden cross. Harold made it to be given away. He believed faith meant nothing if it couldn't be shared. Danny handed her a sketch. Nobody ever took care of me like you did. Iron Mike approached. Mrs. Morrison, I've been thinking about what you said. Got me wondering if we've been too quick to judge folks ourselves. We got members who need medical attention sometimes. Not the kind comfortable walking into hospitals. You ever consider consulting work? I would consider providing first aid and basic medical guidance. Mrs. Morrison, I think this could be the beginning of a very interesting friendship. 6 months later, Elenina's cabin had become an unofficial medical station. Club members arrived regularly with injuries. The arrangement changed both sides. Elenina found purpose filling Harold's void, while bikers discovered respect and kindness were sources of strength. Tank reconnected with Emma, bringing her to visit. Danny's artwork evolved. The town gradually accepted the alliance. When Mrs. Patterson's house was burglarized, Tank and Danny replaced stolen items with their own money. Winter arrived with ferocity. Tank came Tuesday, favoring his left side. Had trouble at a roadhouse. Emma's coming for Christmas, Tank said suddenly. Jennifer finally agreed. First time in 3 years. That's wonderful news. I don't know how to be a father to an 8-year-old girl. Children need consistency, attention, and the sense they're valued. Danny arrived with others. Elenina, we got a problem. Razor took a spill 5 miles down. Rescue took 2 hours in blinding snow. They found Razor with a broken arm. Working in the truck with improvised lighting, Elenina stabilized the fracture. Christmas Eve arrived. Tank paced nervously. She might not remember much about me. Children are remarkably forgiving when they sense authentic effort. Jennifer's car arrived. Emma emerged, blonde hair catching sunlight. Tank knelt. Hey, sweetheart. You remember your old dad? You're bigger than I remembered. And you have more gray in your beard. Tank laughed. But I still remember your favorite story about the princess and dragon. You do? Nobody else knows that story. Jennifer watched with controlled emotion. Later, over coffee. He's different than 3 years ago. More centered, less angry. Tank found purpose in helping others instead of fighting his demons. That evening, they established Christmas routines. Elenina, is my dad a good man? Emma asked. Your father is a man who made mistakes but learned from them. He loves you very much. Then I think Christmas is going to be really good this year. The community center hosted an unusual gathering. Mayor Patricia Hoffman called the meeting to order. We're here to address concerns about the relationship between community members and the Hells Angels. Mary Henderson rose. These people have documented history of violence. Elenina may mean well, but she's put our community at risk. Sheriff Pete Hansen stood. Since Mrs. Morrison began providing medical assistance, we've seen measurable decrease in disturbance calls and property crime. These gentlemen have become unofficial neighborhood watch. This unexpected testimony created surprise. Danny stood. 6 months ago, I was dying in a snowbank. Elenina Morrison saved my life without knowing anything about me except I needed help. I grew up in foster care where nobody cared. Elenina is the first person who encouraged my artistic abilities. She changed my life through consistent kindness. Elenina rose. I've lived in Pine Valley 30 years. I provided medical care to anyone who needed it, regardless of background. Dr. Sarah Chin stood. Mrs. Morrison's emergency care has prevented several situations requiring expensive helicopter evacuations. The meeting continued with residents gradually shifting from suspicion to acceptance. Mayor Hoffman called for a formal resolution. The vote was unanimous. Spring arrived. Elenina's kitchen window framed Danny Stevens teaching art to elementary school children. Principal Janet Morrison had approached Elenina in February. The school's art program lost funding. He's different from what I expected, Principal Morrison confided. The children respond to his patience. Danny's weekly sessions evolved into magic for children never encouraged to express themselves creatively. The County Arts Council approached him about expanding to other schools, offering compensation. I want to apply for community college art program, Danny announced. Get formal training. Principal Morrison thinks I could eventually qualify for full-time teaching. Education is never wasted, especially when it serves others. Iron Mike's vintage Zippo clicked rhythmically on Elenina's porch. Never thought I'd be asking an elderly lady for advice about running a motorcycle club. But what you've done with Tank and Danny has me rethinking everything. What specifically troubles you, Mike? For 30 years, I've led through intimidation. Watching Tank become a real father, seeing Danny discover his teaching gift, got me wondering if there's another way to build brotherhood. Leadership based on fear creates compliance, not loyalty. True respect comes from inspiring people to be better. Mike's phone buzzed. Got a situation with the Riverside chapter. They're questioning our new approach, saying we've gone soft. What are your options? Traditional response would be overwhelming force. But that would undo everything we've built. The other option is invite their leadership here, show them what we've accomplished. That sounds like the approach of a leader confident enough to risk being misunderstood. Either way, I'm committed to protecting what we've built. Tank's relationship with his daughter, Danny's teaching career, all that matters more than maintaining traditional image. Tank and Danny arrived from Emma's soccer practice. Emma bounded up with artwork. Iron Mike watched. Maybe being seen as soft isn't the worst thing. Maybe it's time for Hell's Angels to be known for building communities instead of terrorizing them. Strength that protects is always more impressive than strength that destroys. The rumble of 20 motorcycles shattered peaceful Saturday morning. The Riverside Hells Angels chapter arranged themselves outside the town diner. Iron Mike had coordinated with Sheriff Hansen to ensure law enforcement remained visible but non-provocative. Tank appeared at Elenina's door. Mike wants you to stay inside. Absolutely not, Elenina replied. If they're here to challenge our community relationships, the community needs to see we stand together. The scene outside resembled a carefully choreographed standoff with Iron Mike facing Riverside chapter president Marcus Skull Rodriguez. Iron Mike, Skull called. Heard interesting stories about your boys playing house with civilians. Iron Mike stepped forward. Skull, welcome to Pine Valley. Always happy to show fellow Hells Angels what real leadership accomplishes. Danny emerged from the elementary school with children carrying colorful artwork. Mr. Danny, called Sofia Martinez, running toward the bikers. Look what I painted today. The standoff paused. Skull watched with confusion. That your kid? No, sir, she's one of my art students. I volunteer at the elementary school. The revelation created visible surprise. Elenina stepped forward. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm Elenina Morrison. Perhaps you'd like to see what your fellow Hells Angels have accomplished before making judgments. You're the nurse who started all this. I'm the woman who provided medical care to injured human beings. Everything else grew from that simple act of compassion. Sheriff Hansen arrived. Gentlemen, as long as everyone remains respectful, you're welcome here. Skull studied the scene, Danny surrounded by admiring children, Tank standing beside an elderly woman, Iron Mike coordinating with law enforcement. Elenina's dining room hosted an unlikely peace summit. Skull Rodriguez sat across from Iron Mike. This is impressive, Mike. But you're dealing with a town that wanted to cooperate. Maybe the difference isn't in communities, but in approach, Elenina suggested. People respond to what they perceive as threat or opportunity. When we rolled into towns looking for trouble, we found it. Iron Mike nodded. When we started looking for ways to contribute, people gradually began to trust us. Mayor Hoffman arrived with town council members. Mr. Rodriguez, their members have become valued contributors. Councilman Robert Chin presented documentation. Property crime down 60% since they began security patrols. Skull examined records with amazement. You're telling me local government actually wants Hells Angels' presence? We want citizens who contribute to public welfare. Danny showed Skull his sketch pad, portraits of community members. This is what I see when I look at Pine Valley now. People working together, building something positive. Mike, I came expecting to find weakness. Instead, I found strength I don't fully understand but can't dismiss. Your people haven't gone soft. They found a different kind of power. Power that builds rather than destroys tends to multiply, Elenina said. Maybe it's time for Hells Angels to remember brotherhood was supposed to mean protecting something, not just fighting everyone. 6 months later, Elenina's cabin hosted the first inter-chapter community service coordination meeting. Representatives from 4 chapters sat around the table. Skull had become an unexpected advocate. His Riverside chapter now partnered with local businesses. The Missoula chapter wants to implement similar program, reported Jake Morrison. National leadership wants formal report, Iron Mike said. The County Arts Council wants to nominate our program for state award. Danny announced. Sheriff Hansen arrived. Major accident on Interstate 90. State Patrol requesting additional first aid personnel. Your people are certified and available faster than backup units. How many people do you need? 6 to 8 with first aid training and motorcycles. 20 minutes to reach scene. Hell's Angels transformed to professional emergency responders within minutes. Elenina, you coming with us? Tank asked. My emergency response days are behind me. But I'll have hot coffee and medical supplies ready when you return. The rapid deployment represented the culmination of 2 years of relationship building. What began as Elenina's compassionate response to 2 injured men had evolved into a regional network of community-oriented motorcycle clubs. 5 years had passed since Elenina first discovered 2 frozen Hell's Angels. The small wooden cross Harold carved now occupied a place of honor in the community center. Elenina, now 83, moved more slowly but with same determined purpose. The community center was packed with residents, officials, Hell's Angels from 6 chapters, and media representatives. When I found Tank and Danny that morning, I wasn't thinking about community transformation. Elenina began. I was thinking about 2 human beings who needed immediate medical attention. Everything that followed grew from that simple recognition of our shared humanity. Tank sat with Jennifer and Emma, now 13. Danny stood near back, having completed teaching certification and accepted full-time position as elementary art coordinator. Iron Mike occupied a seat beside Mayor Hoffman. The transformation we've witnessed here challenges fundamental assumptions about redemption and unconditional acceptance, observed Dr. Sarah Martinez, a sociologist documenting the Pine Valley experiment. Sheriff Hansen addressed the assembly. Crime rates have dropped consistently. Property crime down 70%. We've seen measurable increases in community trust. Emma approached the podium. Mrs. Elenina taught my dad that being strong means protecting people, not hurting them. She showed all of us that kindness is more powerful than fear. Governor Patricia Wilson presented a State Community Service Award. Elenina Morrison reminds us that profound changes often begin with simplest acts of human decency. Her willingness to help 2 strangers has created benefits that will continue for generations. Iron Mike was last to approach. Elenina, I don't have words for what you've given us. You took men society had written off and helped us remember what we were supposed to be protecting. You were never broken, Mike. You just needed someone to remind you of your own capacity for good. The wooden cross caught afternoon sunlight as Elenina prepared to return to her mountain cabin, where the cycle of compassion and transformation continued daily. As Tank helped her into his truck, Elenina reflected on the unexpected journey that began with 2 frozen men and a decision to act on fundamental human decency. The legacy would continue long after she was gone, carried forward by people who learned that strength could heal as well as harm.